What's good, everyone? Welcome to another Blue Guardian interview where we interview traders that has made a lot of payouts with us. And today we are joined here with Chris, who's made $3,000 with Blue Guardian. Let's talk to him. Let's dive deeper into his experience as a trader and his journey. Let's see what we can learn from him, and let's dive into it. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Happy to be here. Thanks for meeting with me.
No worries, no worries. So, how long have you been trading for?
For me, like several years at this point. So I pretty much went through the journey of trading everything under the sun until I found this space a little bit. So, buying shares, buying, selling options, things like that, trying to find my style. But from a risk reward standpoint, I finally found the prop space, I'd say 2 years ago at this point. And I went through that process of really learning a lot. And what I mean by learning is failing miserably. There were certainly plenty of challenges and things like that I failed over time. But that really made me kind of dig in a little bit and say, you know what, this is what I want to do. I really got to focus up and I got to work on a few things. So pretty much from there, I worked with a professional trading coach, someone who had some experience in the live markets and whatnot for about a year. And the big thing I got from him is really to focus on statistics and the data. And that's really what got me going. It's kind of right in my wheelhouse. This isn't my full-time job. My full-time job is I'm a CPA in the United States. So I'm a numbers guy. So it made sense to me
Yeah.
to really dig into the statistics and things like that. So, he had me really start journaling and things like that and really being, listen, this is what you're going to do. These are your numbers. This is your average winner, etc. And that kind of helped me, really kind of quantify what my trading strategy was like, how it was going to look, how many losses I would have in a row, how many winners I would have in a row, what the size would be. So it really helped me kind of get that going a little bit. And then from there, another thing I looked at, Funded Next, another prop firm, they had this statistical study that really went deep into what traders getting the bulk of the payout. So that had some additional statistics in there, focused on a profit factor of around 2. Your average winner being bigger than your largest loser was a big stat in there. Holding your winners longer, higher time frame bias, really trying to stick with the trend, focusing on limiting pairs. So I really kind of found my niche, really just trading gold and the dollar yen. And then another thing too that really kind of brought it all together, which I think a lot of people miss, is trading less and not trading every single day. Like really, I feel
Yeah,
like
that's
less.
so true. That's so true.
That's the biggest thing. Like I feel like you get this challenge mode, and it used to be the 30 days to pass or whatever it is, and people just you get hit and you start doing you go down a little bit, you try and trade more and more and more. You really got to step back and do so much less in this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy. Like, I don't even know why so many people rush the process, right? Like, they don't understand that they're trying to make so much money in this career. Like, trading has such unlimited potential, but then they never compare it to like other jobs or anything, right? If you compare it to any job, you're not gonna make money like 30 days, 40 days, right? Like, you'll be lucky even if after 6 months you start making 1K a month. That is awesome. Most people
yeah,
don't look at that way. They're like, oh, I want to make 20K this month. I want to make 20% this month, right? It just
I know.
doesn't make sense. I don't know why. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. You really got to like slow yourself down and diving into the statistics and kind of getting a sense on like, okay, if I put this strategy on, and really look at my back test 3 years, 3 months, 6 months, however long it's going to be. It's like, okay, this is going to take 15 days, 30 days, 45 days to kind of get to that 10% or 8% profit target. So it's like, if you know your numbers, it's really going to help you mentally on how long it's going to take, and you being able to sit in there being like, okay, like this strategy may lose 3 in a row, and it might lose $1,000 or $1,000 a trade, 1% a trade, 0.5% a trade, but it's going to make 2% when that time comes. So it's like really digging into that is going to help you so much, and I feel like it really helps you mentally, and that's
Yeah,
another thing.
exactly.
Yeah, like that's another thing I really worked on. Also, is recalibrating myself to kind of trade like that. And, it's hard because it goes against your human nature. But, I've found that, my sweet spot is a win rate of somewhere between like 35, 40% in there, risking one to make two at a minimum. And, that statistic helps me reverse engineer my mental game and my risk management. So it actually got me really, really good at losing. I'm like, okay, Like I lose 0.5%, I lose 1%, no problem at all. I'm okay with that. I know when it's going to hit big. And the smaller losses, which is another thing, the biggest thing also that we know, and like trading in the prop firm space for a couple of years is really going to give you the lesson on risk management and like tightening
Yeah.
that up because 1 or 2% max on losing per trade. That's really, you got to stay in business. That's really the thing. Live to see another day and just wait for your edge to play out. It's like anything else. It's if you go to the gym, right? Like to your point, trying to make 20,000 one month. It's like no one goes into the gym we're here January 1st. No one's going in on January 1st and putting up 300 pounds on the first day. It's like you got to
Yeah,
have your,
exactly.
yeah, you got to take your time and just, as tough as it is and lonely as it is, you got to kind of enjoy the process a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's the social media aspect of thing, right? Like it just kind of warps people's thinking around trading because like you don't see doctors online flexing Lamborghinis, going on holidays, but then you see all the traders doing it, and now everyone's like, "Oh, damn, that's the life I'm gonna get if I'm a trader." And then they see those traders selling some sort of course or whatever, right? And then they have to promote crazy numbers, and then that kind of becomes their standard metric now, their baseline, where they're like, oh, if I'm not making this much, I'm not good. Like this is not trading. But the reality is, trading is like a very professional job, right? It's like a very statistic, math-based job. As you said, the true confidence in your trading comes from the data. Like if you have multiple years of data, you shouldn't be like scared to take the next trade because if you took that trade like 1,000 times in the past, how it would have played out. It's all about stats and maths, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. And it's really the further you dig into that, the better off you're going to be. It really helps your mental game because, like, you know how your strategy is at that point. It's like, I know that, the maximum amount of, losses this had in a row was, let's say it's 5. I know what I got to risk in that account. And then it's like, okay, if I lose more than 5 in a row, maybe I got to revisit my strategy. Like maybe something's off
Mm-hmm.
here, maybe something I missed, maybe the market changed. But like you said, the social media aspect, like people think there's this magical indicator and things like that. And
Yeah.
it's like, let me join this Discord group and then I'm going to get better. Like I did all that. I've done plenty of Discord groups and this and that, but you really got to focus on yourself. The best indicator
Yeah.
and the bullets in your head. Like you got to just kind of do it yourself and, really just, work on yourself, work on your discipline, work on your risk management. That's really what's going to get you there.
Yeah, that's true. People just don't understand, right? Like they just it's like another thing is that you said you change your strategy like once you have a drawdown period, right? But most people, what they would do is they'll be like, oh, this strategy doesn't work. They completely start going into a new thing. That's like starting from zero. That's like going into your degree and then not getting a job in the first month and you go do another degree. It's like that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like, you kind of got to also reverse engineer to, you really got to know yourself too. It's like, are you a patient person? Are you going to be in a trade and scrambling like crazy? Are you going to be nervous? Things like that. Like also, it's big, like what's going on in your personal life and what else you do, I think is a big thing also. Like your personal life is chaotic, like that's going to pour over into your trading. If you got a lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on, you don't have that much time, then maybe you should really look at swing trading. And it's like, okay, I'm going to put the trade on and I'm walking away and it's going to be in that trade for 2 or 3 days and that's it. And you got to just live with it. Like you can't really be in front of the charts, take a million trades, or you're going to spend yourself out and it's going to mentally tax you and you're going to start making mistakes on top of it.
Yeah, so far what I've heard about your journey is it sounds like all very smooth. Apart from the little discos you join and stuff like that, like what was like some major like points that was like the low points of your journey? What was that like? I'm sure you went through like strategy hopping and all that stuff, losing money, right? Like, let's get a bit into that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think all of the failure, like I look at it, it's years and years of failure and low points, and then I feel like eventually you make that big leap. But I mean, look, like the big craze in 2020 with the COVID crash and everything, and all the liquidity and printing money, and especially here in the U.S., like all these Discord groups and everything, like everything popped up. Everyone was day trading options, things like that. So I got smoked those years. Like that was a great learning experience. And it was basically a type of group where, it was option data flow and, it was just coming out. It was like, okay, look at this above ask. And you just take the trade. But there was no like statistics or backing behind it. It was just taking a trade. And I got smoked, completely smoked on that, lost some money there. But again, like you need to kind of go through those things to get, move forward. So I had that experience. And then, when I found the prop firm space, like I went through it, and, I probably traded a year in the prop firm space with no strategy. It was just, or like you said, strategy hopping. It's like, this worked for a week or two. I get impatient. That's just kind of like how I am as a person. And I was like, okay, let me try something new. Fail the account. Redo it again. New strategy. Fail the account. Do it again. Fail the account. Now, the one thing I did, which, in the long run, like I feel was smart, is that I was just trading $5,000 or $10,000 accounts. So it really didn't kill me financially. And,
Mm.
I was losing small amounts of this and that, but it kind of got me into some bad habits that I've really, really, really had to work on. So, like I said, really, I made all the mistakes that everyone else did, and, just trying to overtrade. That's really what kills portfolios, I think,
Yeah.
across the board, is just doing too much. So when I really, I'd say last September, that was really my turning point when, I said, what, just focus on the statistics and, kind of just go from there.
Yeah, like usually what I tell people is the losses is basically where you learn the lessons, right, in trading. Especially like if you treat at the start of your journey the losses as kind of like the tuition fee of this kind of degree, like you have to pay those degree fees, right, in order to gain the knowledge. If you don't lose that money, you're not going to gain that knowledge ever. So that's how I kind of see it. And another thing is, when I lose trades, what I tell people is, it's because trade is a business, right? Treat it like that's an expense of your business. Overall, at the end of the year, you're going to be profitable, or at the end of the quarter. So until then, just treat your loss as expense. As long as the end, you're profitable.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. That's the great way of looking at it. I've heard that commentary before. It's just an expense. It's a business, and that's a big thing. That big word there. It is a business. Like this isn't. It's people treat it like gambling, and that's when you get into trouble. Like you really
Yeah.
gotta sit down, look in the mirror, and make like business decisions. You have to treat it like that because at the end of the day, right? It's one person's on one side of the computer making a trade, another person's on the other side, and there are people out
Mm.
there who are high performance. They're doing this every day. They've been doing it for years, and they're working at a high level, and they're trying to take your money. So if you're not showing up with that same authority and mindset, you're going to get taken. And look, you're going to lose too, and that's fine. But generating that mental makeup and really treating this in a professional manner and treating it like a business, that's when you really see the turning point. You can't just going here. I mean, what's the word that's really come about over the last few years? YOLO on options, YOLO on this, YOLO phase one, and then go into phase two. But okay, like you may get lucky and you may pass phase one, but what's going to happen when you get to the funded account? Like you can't just YOLO
YOLO
that.
again.
Yeah, they YOLO again, and then they're blown out in like so long. So you
A lot
really
of
got
people make payouts like that, like they go through like $5,000 to $10,000 of their money, then eventually make a payout that breaks them even. It's like a very bad way of doing it, but some people like just keep doing that. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and and I mean that's the biggest thing too. Is like I kind of look at it as long term. Also, I do see a lot of people out there who kind of just challenge after challenge after challenge, and I'm like, okay, let me just get aggressive on my funded. I'm like, I just want to just base hits long term and just keep it rolling and reinvest into more challenges and keep building my capital and things like that. But just keep it
Yeah, that's the
simple.
way. That's the way.
Yeah,
Keep it
yeah.
professional, right? Like no need to do some crazy stuff. Like if you had a real business, you wouldn't be like risking such a big percentage of your business on some stupid decision, right? In one day, you'd make small percentage decisions that are not gonna cost your whole business in like a week in
Yeah,
real
yeah,
life, right?
exactly. And you got people who are crazy trying to go 4, 5, 6, like these crazy monthly amounts. It's like most money managers don't beat the S&P, and that's historical, whatever it is, 8, 9, 10%. So stay small and just keep yourself in business in the long term, and it's going to make your trading so much better because it's really going to help you